views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hola, everyone, and welcome to Open, the one and only show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll meet the organizer of a Cranksgiving, an event that goes beyond the traditional food drive by connecting cyclists and their community. Then it's at that time of year again. The Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival is right around the corner, and we'll find out how this year's proceeds will go to supporting Puerto Rico. After that, I'll sit down with the international best-selling author, Dr. Ann Wilson Schaaf, and learn about her insight for personal growth and healing. Next up, Boogie Down Books has a pop-up shop that will have the next generation fall into reading right here in the Boogie Down Bronx. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us up to date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And finally, our Open Artist Spotlight this week features Beatriz Capote, the final dancer from the Dance Your Future Artist and Mentor Collaborative Residency, a partnership between Pepatian and BAD. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is coming your way because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open. I'm Rina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour. Always inviting you to get social with us online, that is. Tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV or like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, while you're there, don't forget, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, FB, Snapchat, Insta Stories, LinkedIn, at Rina Valentin. Okay, so Bronx Cranksgiving, that sounds cool, right? Is a food drive on two wheels connecting cyclists with the communities that will benefit from their participation. It's been held annually throughout New York City since 1999, and last year it made its way to the Bronx for the first time. And the event includes a bike ride, food drive, and scavenger hunt. Joining us now to tell us more, we welcome the organizers for the Bronx Cranksgiving, Edmundo and Laura Alvarez. Hello and welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. So, first of all, I like the name Cranksgiving, right? Is that because we're going to crank it up, right? So, let's talk about the origins of the Bronx's version, right? Because this has been in existence since 1999. And last year was the first time it made its way to the Bronx, and now you're doing it again.
Yes. This is our second year. Last year was our first. Since it's been run, like you said, since 99. I attended for maybe like 4 or 5 years, and I used to give the organizers a little trouble for not bringing the event up north to the Bronx. And just things worked out where I was able to locate a secure space, a venue sponsor, and little by little the community came out together and we was able to host the event last year.
Right, so you are into biking?
Yes.
Right, and what's the term for that?
A cyclist. I'm a cyclist.
Right. No, you're a cyclist, right? No, I remember. It's like, no, not biker, cyclist,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
So define what a cyclist is.
Well, a cyclist, it could be different for everyone. You ride a bike, whether it's through your community on the weekends, maybe you race, or maybe you do the casual stuff, or social rides or group rides. That's kind of how I started, just commuting to work and organizing group rides to get together.
So you're a social cyclist.
Yes.
That's
yes.
a new term for me. So I want to make sure that everybody gets it, right? And so having been a social cyclist, you participated in Cranksgiving, and then you decided to bring it to the Bronx. Did you organize it last year as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so that's it. You're the official organizer for the Bronx
It's
Cranksgiving.
kind of worked out that way, but I've been able to enlist help.
Laura, que está metida en everything. BX Arts Factory, and 200 and
everything else.
It's lovely though. We love all your efforts. And so, how'd you get her enrolled?
Well,
I
she-
bike.
you bike?
I'm
Ah.
a social cyclist.
Oh,
we've
nice.
actually met by way of bicycle,
Yes.
and then I've come out to some of her events and her experience and knowledge in the community. I reached out, and she kind of has been very integral in guiding me. And
Yeah, Ed
She's
has
very
been,
community oriented.
yeah,
so
Ed
we
also
appreciate
has
that.
organized all their social rights for us, and I thought, like, yes, why not?
So I like this. This is all new to me. So you guys have like social gatherings, biking
Yes.
or cycling, I should say.
okay, biking
Bike is
bike
good.
is appropriate. Bike is appropriate. They don't make
Yes.
it sound so exercise.
Right. It's social, and you just kind of you set up a route, or
Yes.
how do we do this?
It's good for people like that they're afraid of cycling by themselves. I bike to work, so I'm not afraid of doing it. But there's a lot of people that they know how to ride, but they're afraid of roads.
Okay.
So when you're in a group and you're doing something together, it's different. So that's a good way to start getting into the
right. And
habit
to build
and-
up the
yes.
confidence.
And I always try to connect it back to the community by either going to a locally owned restaurant or an art show or an event to try to connect
Yes.
the cyclists with the community instead of just riding through it.
With
Nice.
the
So
mural,
which leads us
yeah.
into Cranksgiving, because
Yes.
Cranksgiving is really for everyone, not just professional cyclists. It's for social cyclists or even beginner cyclists,
Yes.
right? So
Family
let's talk
friendly,
about
all
that
ages.
really quick, and we definitely have to incorporate the scavenger hunt aspect of it.
Okay. Basically, you come out Saturday, 1 o'clock, Mount Haven Barn Grill. You
This
register.
Saturday as
Yes.
in
Yes.
November
11th.
11th,
Tomorrow.
right?
Yes.
Okay, just
So
want to
you-
make sure.
Yeah, you come out, you register, you get your rules and instructions. At the bottom, there'll be a list of 25 markets. You got to pick your markets, you pick your own route. There'll also be a food list. You pick one item or more if you want to be more generous from each market, and you select your routes, and you come back to the end. We accumulate all the food, we take pictures, we give out awards, and BronxWorks come, they pick up all the food, and we get to give back to the community.
That's awesome. So this is a drive with a drive also being mindful of your development, your mind, body, and spirit while paying it forward. I
Yes.
love that. So is this a race also? I'm just curious, like in the scavenger hunt, because when I hear scavenger hunt, I automatically go into, oh, this is a competition.
It's if you want to race it, you can. If you want to ride it, you can. You choose what you want. There'll be prizes for all type of categories and people. So some people treat it as a race. Other people just treat it as a good day on a bike to give back.
That's lovely. And this is all taking place.
In the Bronx, Mount Haven Barn Grill starts at 1 o'clock. Registration, and from 2 o'clock you're off.
So people can just show up and sign
Yes,
up.
yes,
All right.
definitely.
Thank you guys.
Thank
for
you.
being
Thank
here.
you for having
Ed,
me.
Laura.
Thank you.
Always lovely to see you. Once again, Bronx Cranksgiving is taking place. I just like the sound of it. It's taking place on Saturday, November 11th at 2 p.m. Registration begins at 1 p.m. at Mott Haven Bar and Grill, located on 1 Bruckner Boulevard. And for more information, you can check out their Facebook page, Bronx Cranksgiving. We're taking a quick break, but coming up, we'll find out about this year's Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival. Stay tuned.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. Don't forget, we're always inviting you to get social with us. That's right. Tweet us at BronxNet TV, and while you're there, tweet me too at Rena Valentine. Each year, the Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival provides young musicians with performance and learning opportunities, as well as the chance to see world-class Latin music and jazz artists perform. This year, all proceeds from the festival will go towards the disaster relief efforts for the people of Puerto Rico. Joining us now to share more, we welcome the director of the Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival, Alan Molnar. Hello and welcome back, and thank you for your service, kind sir.
A pleasure to be here as always, Rena. Thank you.
I love this innovative concept, and I love that we're a part of it, and I love that this year there's an additional effort to contribute to the PR Relief Fund. So thank you. As a Puerto Rican, I'm thanking you personally.
Thank you for your kind words. You know, it's such an important initiative that the college has embraced, and Amanda Dubois just speak to some of the work that she's done. Amanda Dubois Macquay has been the relief coordinator for CUNY here at Lehman College and has organized multiple efforts for community with community organizations. And to date, they've raised over $7,000, or approximately $7,000 from a variety of sources, and the donations are sent to wherever there's need in Houston, Bermuda, Mexico, and mostly Puerto Rico. So for us to be able to partner with this wonderful initiative at the college is a privilege for our festival, and we hope to be able to make a contribution.
Well, we appreciate that. And speaking of the festival, one of the highlights of this festival, at least for me anyway, is that you kind of include people from all over the world. So how is it, okay, what's the big deal this year? Because I just love this concept of just being able to communicate and or perform being in an entirely different part of the world.
Well, this year we're really focusing on the web streaming aspect, not so much the peer-to-peer.
Okay.
Next year is our 10th anniversary. Hard to believe, but I
Nice.
think we're going to have to cook up something really interesting for that. And I've actually been invited to do a workshop at Kansas City, a short residency at Kansas City, or Kansas State University. Music department
Right.
In Manhattan, Kansas. And one of their professors has been coming 2 or 3 times to our festival to be a part of the events here. So I think we'll probably coordinate something there for the 10th.
That's so exciting. I
Yeah.
just love the modern day and age that we live in, and the way we can use technology. So on a more local level, let's talk about the schools that have been chosen to partake with these famous musicians and who the famous musicians are this year.
Well, this year I'm bringing in a guest artist from Kansas City, Kansas, and he's an outstanding saxophone player. He's a professor at Kansas City Community College, and he runs the Kansas City Jazz Alliance, a not-for-profit, and they run a huge jazz festival out there every year. And additionally, they have a jazz camp in the summer. So Jim Mayers is his name. He is an outstanding saxophonist who will be performing with the Lehman Jazz Ensemble as a guest soloist on Friday night. And this year, something a little bit different. I've asked him to solo with a few of the high school jazz ensembles that are coming in through the week to give them a chance to play with the guest artist. So he's going to be working with, well, he'll be working with all of the ensembles, but we'll be getting up on stage and performing with 3 or 4 of them. And additionally, we have Aldo Matza coming from Montreal. He's the director of the Costa International Percussion Workshops. So he's going to be giving clinics each of the days of the festival on Cuban drumming and rhythm section techniques. So it's going to be pretty exciting from that point of view.
The whole thing looks exciting. We're looking at some images of, I guess, last year's festival. If you can just look really quickly and tell me, is that last year's?
That's last
Yes.
year's festival, yes.
And just the fact that we're able to take the next generation and kind of put them in the space of professional musicians and play together, it must be like a phenomenal experience to just take in.
Well, it's really exciting because additionally, because of our friends here at BronxNet and the professionalism of the media component, we're able to, they're on live TV and live streaming. And so, you know, their relatives can dial them in on their phones or come here and watch and listen live. They can do all of these things. And it's such a, I mean, we get hits from all over the world on the web stream. So they're, you know, global superstars.
No, I love it. And last year I remember, because it was an all-day thing, right? Is it going to be all day? this week as well. No, it's next week. I'm sorry, it's
Next
next
week.
week. Yeah, because I'm sorry, they. When it was actually occurring last year, I would use it to kind of like just be part of my day because I can just put it on my phone.
Wonderful. Well, we on Tuesday we have a very special event. It's a theatrical production, a jazz musical called "Holding the Torch for Liberty," and Eli Yeaman is the director of and the composer of this program, and so. Those performances will be at 1 and 7 p.m. And then from Wednesday through Friday, those will be all-day events ending at 3:30, beginning, of course, at 10 o'clock in the morning with multiple bands performing each day.
I love it. So let's just go through that again. At 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday?
On Tuesday.
On Tuesday,
14th.
1 and then at 7
Correct.
in the evening. And then from then on, it's from 10 o'clock in the morning until the evening.
10 o'clock in the morning until 3:30.
Until 3:30.
And then Thursday and Friday, we have our two feature events, evening performances, which begin at 7:30. And they'll probably each go for a good solid hour and a half, maybe a little bit more. And those feature professional ensembles on Thursday, and on Friday, it'll be featuring the Lehman College Jazz Ensemble plus a few guests.
Beautiful. And they can see it all on BronxNet.tv.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, thank you, Alan Mulder.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations, and thank you for the wonderful work you're doing here, especially with the students. And you guys, once again, this year's Johnny Pacheco Latin Music and Jazz Festival is taking place from November 14th to the 17th in the Studio Theater at Lehman College. That's if you want to be present, it's free. So, and that's located on 250 Bedford Park Boulevard, west in the Bronx. And for more information, you can visit lehman.edu/jazzfest. Okay, we're taking a quick break, but coming up, well, we're going to sit down with author Dr. Ann Wilson Schaaf. Don't go anywhere.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to. My love, she keeps me warm. 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 She keeps me warm.
We are neighbors and best friends.
I love my sister.
My heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
Our family is no less than any other family.
Love is kind. Love is patient.
Hello, and welcome back to Open. Our next guest is an international best-selling author. Her books provide readers with insight for personal growth and healing, as well as theoretical commentaries about society. She's also developed her own approach to healing called Living in Process that combines the teachings of her ancestors and her own life experiences. Please welcome author Dr. Ann Wilson Schaaf. Hello
Hi.
and welcome.
Oh, it's good to be here.
Welcome to New York again.
Again.
I met you last year
Yes.
at the New York State Women's Conference for Women Civically Engaged. Civically engaged, and well, you left me speechless.
I can't believe that.
You did. You did. Everything you shared was on such a profound level that there are so many people that really need to read your book. So can we begin with just how or what inspired you to take the angle that you've chosen in serving this particular purpose in life?
Well, I don't think that I chose it. When I was a child, my great-grandmother was a medicine woman, Cherokee medicine woman, and my mother didn't like people that much, so she doctored animals. And I announced when I was very young that I was going to be a healer. And they just said, okay, Elizabeth Ann. My first name's Elizabeth. I gave it up for a while. Now I'm back to it, sort of. And they said, okay, Elizabeth Ann, that's fine. And, you know, no big deal. And so then when I was a little bit older, I thought, well, I found out about psychiatrists, and I thought, well, I'll be a psychiatrist. And so I did all the science work and everything in high school to get into a pre-med program, which I did at Washington University, St. Louis. And I worked in the hospital. It was a small town I lived in Oregon, Pendleton, Oregon. And since I was going to be a doctor, they were so proud of me, and the whole town was so proud of me. And I worked in the hospitals the summer after I graduated from high school and all through college. And by the time I finished college, I thought, medicine isn't it. I can't do it. There's something wrong with it. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong with it. So I applied to social work and psychology. And then just before school started, I thought, I don't like social workers much. And so I went over to psychology and said, why haven't you admitted me? And they said, well, we've been out of town. And I said, well, I think I should be in your doctoral program. And so they admitted me pretty much on the spot. And so I was going to be a psychologist, and I did some research in zoology, and it was all great. And then by the time it came to graduate, I thought, I think there's something wrong with this field too, and I'm not sure what it is. But I went ahead, and without a doctorate, I set up a private practice and started seeing clients, and refused to get a license. I didn't want to be in that field. At one point, people I lived in Denver, and they moved to town to work with me. And I found that a bit embarrassing. And then I had a waiting list of 2 years. And then I said, psychotherapy is preparing people to adjust to a sick society.
That's really fascinating. What a fascinating theory.
So I couldn't do it anymore.
You couldn't
I left
do it
the
anymore.
field.
But you have 2 doctorates, right?
I do.
Yeah. And they are in?
Clinical psychology, and I have an honorary doctorate in human letters.
Nice.
As a writer. Yep. So anyway, I developed my own approach to working with people, and I realize now that it was very much based on what I learned from my great-grandmother and my mother. And for a while I called it process therapy, and then I thought, this isn't therapy. And so I started calling it living in process.
Living in process. Do you use, okay, so just give us, I guess, a breakdown of what you consider living in process, and do you use it in all of your writing?
Well, I use it in all my living.
In all your living, right?
In all my living, really.
Right.
You can see that I kept leaving what I thought was what I was going to do, because in my living, I was listening to another voice. And that voice that I was listening to was my own inner process, which tells me what I need to do when I need to do it. It's my spirituality.
Right.
And I operate out of that. And so I've known since I was a child, and my boss is up there. And my job is to listen to my boss and to try to do the best I can. So my work is not a choice I made, it's who I am and what I'm here to do.
So let's talk about your work, because I know you travel extensively. You just got back into America, right?
I'm still jet lagged, yes.
You're still jet lagged. Thank you for being here with us on the
Yes.
show. And I want to make sure that we share the philosophy behind your writing in your books before, our segment runs out, because I think it's important that people understand, especially in the society that we're living in right now. Your books could very well serve as a guideline of how to kind of break the channel. I'd rather break the what is it? I mean, not the system. What's the word I'm looking for? The repetition, the cycle.
The cycle.
Break the cycle. Break the cycle.
Well, I do think that we're in a pretty insane society. My first book was called Women's Reality, and it was focused on the subtitle was An Emerging Female System in a White Male Society, and I could see that our troubles were not so personal as women, or just personal. The feminists said the personal is political. Well, I think the personal is systemic, and the systemic is personal. And it's just what, I heard someone saying recently, is that we really have to look at the personal, the building blocks into the systemic. And it was very clear to me that women had information that other people don't have.
Right, which brings me to the book that I own, right? Which I want to share with everyone because it's really, I love the fact that you wrote 2 volumes and that it's actually in both books, and it's basically a reverse upside down reading on each side, and that the volume 1 has poetry in it, and just
Stories.
it has stories, and also just it serves almost like an artist's mind, which is what my preference of reading. But yet there's this really strong spiritual component to everything that you're sharing. That is what truly draws me to your writing.
That's the baseline. That's the baseline. If we don't remember that we're spiritual beings trying to be human, then we're in trouble. And that everything that we operate out is our deep spirituality, which I call living in process. And it's trusting that if we just trust, that we'll know what to do next, that we get that information. And life is a process, everything is a process. Our scientific system has to try to make things static. Our mechanistic science, that's one of the problems with the world that we have today right now is mechanistic science, because they try to make things static, and if you make things static, then you think you control and manipulate, and that's what it's all about. And our job is not to control or manipulate ourselves, anyone else, the world. Our job is to participate. And as we participate, we will know what comes next.
Beautiful. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us and taking time out of your schedule to share just a brief taste of your wisdom, because she has so much more to offer. And I wish we had more time. But
I do too.
We are so grateful to
I
you
love
for
spending time
stopping
with you.
Thank you. So do I. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for my book. I'm going to make sure you sign it because I've had it for a whole year without your signature on it. Dr. Ann Wilson Schaaf. Once again, you guys, for more information on Dr. Ann Wilson Schaaf and her work, you can check her out by going to her website, AnnWilsonSchaaf.com. We have to take a quick break, but we'll be back with more Open after this.
Morning, Gary. We are GetSchooled.com. You want a college education, don't you? Gary, financial aid forms. Biology homework, G. Picking a college, man. You and us go together like tacos and Tuesday. And I love tacos.
Hello and welcome back to Open, everyone. You know, make sure you stay connected with us by liking us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And, well, we're going to talk about some Boogie Down Books. Yeah, the Boogie Down Books was started in order to empower the youth in the South Bronx and provide them with reading transformative experiences and inspiring community events. Fall into Reading is a month-long partnership that aims to bring pop-up bookshops to the South Bronx. And joining us now to share more, we welcome the founder of Boogie Down Books, Rebecca Schoaf. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
And thank you for this amazing concept and for not giving up on our children in the Bronx. And I only say that because we had a bookstore that was here and it didn't really last very long. You know, I don't even want to mention their names, but the idea is that we had one, they shut down. Where do our kids go?
Yeah, the Bronx has 1.4 million residents. 25% of them are under the age of 18, and there are 0 specialty children's or teen bookstores in the Bronx. And so Boogie Down Books aims to help impact that by bringing access to books and reading experiences and educational workshops into communities throughout the Bronx.
So why have you chosen to do it in pop-up style?
So first of all, the real estate costs are fairly prohibitive when it comes to establishing bricks and mortar spaces. So we're starting out as a pop-up in order to be able to be mobile and to potentially bring these resources into different communities throughout the Bronx. So our pop-up bookshop was actually on Saturday, October 28th. We distributed 200 books to kids, teenagers, caregivers, and educators from the South Bronx. It was really, really exciting. There was a ton of enthusiasm and a lot of just a real buzz in the room as you saw kids touching books, picking books up, talking about books, and thinking about what they wanted to take home with them. Moving forward, we have a big celebration that's happening on November 18th to bring people back together in community to really talk about what they're reading. And we also have an author who will be joining us to talk about her process too.
So regarding these images we're looking at right now, was this the event that took place in October?
Yes, yes. So we partnered with a local middle school, and so you can see some of the displays there. That's The Education of Margot Sanchez by Lilium Rivera, who is a Bronx native. She lives in LA now. That is They Both Die at the End. That's the title, and that is what happens, by Adam Silvera. And Wonder by R.J. Palacio, which is also available in Spanish as La Lección de Auguste, and we distributed that as well.
Right, that's being made into a movie, right?
It is. It comes out on November 17th, so next week as well.
Nice. So, all right, so let's talk a little bit about just the importance of reading and how it is crucial that it be established as a habit at a very young age, hence the reason why I'm sure you started this whole mission of beginning with the pop-ups. Are you assessing areas as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So we definitely want to reach out to other communities throughout the Bronx. We started this pop-up in the South Bronx. I was a high school English teacher for 10 years, and my favorite thing about that job was getting to talk to kids about books. I had many, many experiences where I would start the year with students who would tell me, I hate reading, I don't like to read, I've never read a book outside of school, or sometimes even I've never read a book, period. And so one thing that was really, really exciting was seeing those kids over the course of the year feel empowered and excited by the opportunity to choose books and to talk about books with their classmates. And those are experiences that you can find in bookstores. Bookstores are not only places to buy books, they are also places to find community. And so through Boogie Down Books and our pop-up events, working with different partners in the community, we hope to bring both access to books and exciting reading experiences in community to neighborhoods throughout the borough.
Yeah, my daughter and I, that's one of our favorite pastimes,
That's
is
great.
going to bookstores, because there's just something magical about touching a book. I mean, I know the kids nowadays, they do it electronically and stuff, but it's just not the same as flipping a page and looking at illustrations and of course experiencing just the smell of like what books are on a shelf.
Yeah, you're right. There is very much a tactile experience of books in print. I'm excited by the idea of young people reading books in any form that is interesting to them. And you know,
said the teacher,
right?
the
Absolutely,
English teacher.
absolutely.
That
And
is.
books that fit into your pocket on your phone are really, really great too. But of course, you're right. There is something about that tactile, physical experience of books in print. And then, of course, being in a space that has lots of books and lots of other people who are reading books and are excited about books just like you are.
Nice. So let's talk about the location for this pop-up shop, the pop-up bookstore that's coming up.
Yep. So the pop-up on October 28th, actually, we partnered with a couple of middle schools in Mott Haven, and that was really exciting. The event on November 18th is going to be at the Mott Haven branch of the New York Public Library, which is at Alexander Avenue and 140th Street in the South Bronx. And we will be partnering with them to bring in a number of different kinds of activities and reading-based experiences that day. So it'll be from 1 to 4:30 p.m. People can come whenever they want. It's open to readers of all ages, not only kids and teenagers, although of course we are especially reaching out to them. And we'll have an author joining us. We'll have giveaways. We're raffling off a number of free books. We're raffling off tickets actually to see the movie Wonder, which we hope people who are really interested in reading the book or have already read the book will be especially excited about. We'll have resources for educators and for caregivers who want to engage with the young people in their lives who are reading books. So it's going to be a celebration. We'll have food. So we really hope that people come out for that to join us and to become part of the Boogie Down Books community.
Sounds lovely. And so this is the grand finale of the Fall into Reading. Where are you going to go from here?
So we have a number of different things that we're thinking about. Most exciting, we've had a number of different organizations and individuals and agencies from the community reach out to us since we launched Fall Into Reading a couple of weeks ago. And so we have a number of different things that we're very excited about. We'd really like to build on this idea of bringing people together who are excited about reading together. And so we are especially interested in promoting book clubs and book-based discussions for readers of all ages. And we send that information out through social media as well as through our mailing list, and people can get on our mailing list by signing up through our social media accounts too.
Wow, thank you. Thank you so much,
Thank
Rebecca, for the work you're
you.
doing here with the next generation here in the Bronx. And you guys, once again, Fall Into Reading's grand finale event is taking place on Saturday, November 18th from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the Mott Haven Public Library, located on 321 East 140th Street and Alexander Avenue in the Bronx, of course. And for more information, you can follow them on social media under Boogie Down Books. Okay, so stay tuned because Bobby C's weekly sports roundup is coming up next.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We begin our look at sports on the NFL gridiron, where the New York Football Giants have hit rock bottom. The Giants suffered their third worst home loss in the franchise's 92-year history on Sunday. Quarterback Eli Manning didn't play particularly well. He missed 3 potential long touchdowns in the first half, but at the same time, the decimated G-Men lineup, including their receiving core, didn't come up big either. 5 different Giants combined to drop 7 passes. It was their most drops since Week 15 of the 2007 season. Manning and the Giants are moving closer to the #1 pick in the NFL draft at 1-7. It's likely their 5th time in 6 years that they will miss the postseason. Meanwhile, the Giants were down Sunday. The vibe in the LA Ram locker room was up. The Rams are 6-2 and have turned their franchise around. Here's more.
What do you think's been the #1 reason why this organization has had a turnaround this year?
I mean, we're taking care of the ball. You know, at the end of the day, you look at the games we lost, we didn't take care of the ball. So, and that's the first thing, you know, he said, you know, about the ball, whether it's offense, defense, special teams, you got to take care of it, got to get turnovers, and we've been able to do that and be successful.
You've seen in the past, teams happens all the time. Teams start out hot and, you know, they don't finish the season right way, or vice versa. Start off slow and finish it, you know, tremendously. So we need to go week to week right now, and we're excited about where we're at for sure. 6-2 is really good, and finishing this second quarter now of the season 3-1 as well is really good. But you know, we got another half of the season to go.
We know the time and effort that we put into this job we do, and you know we haven't been a really great team in a while, and You know, we just try to remember that and push forward and just get better every day. And, you know, like I said, when you work at something, you know, you work hard at something, you expect for it to pay off. And, you know, that's just, like I said, a tribute to everybody buying in, believing in what Coach said, and just doing their job to the best of their abilities.
How do you think this team has been able to exceed expectations so far?
Believe in McVay, and like I said, the one game at a time, selfless football, and just playing together.
Congrats to the Rams. As for Big Blue, anonymous players came forward this week and said that head coach Ben McAdoo has lost the locker room. Some players like Damon Sachs Harrison took issue calling those Giants cowards for claiming that the locker room is in disarray. The Giants are in San Francisco Sunday for a 4:25 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff against the winless Niners. They should be able to beat the Niners, right? I'm not so sure. Sources confirmed this week that the Giants won't be making any coaching decisions in season, meaning that for now, McAdoo has a job. I could see the Giants falling in San Fran and that storyline changing by next week. The Jets have a chance to remain the feel-good football story here in New York this weekend. With the Giants falling apart, Gang Green heads to Tampa Bay with a chance to go into the bye at 5-5 with a win over the slumping Buccaneers. The Jets defense behind young, up-and-coming stars like Leonard Williams has anchored a team that I believe has overachieved and really played passionately for their head coach, Todd Bowles. They may not have all the talent, but this Jets team has plenty of heart. They top Tampa Bay and go 5-5 on Sunday. That game kicks at 1 p.m. Who would have thought that the Big Apple would be electrified by the Jets and the New York Knicks in the month of November? Well, Orange and Blue fans can thank Kristaps Porzingis for some early season fun. Kristaps scored a game-high 28 points Tuesday as the Knicks extended their win streak to 3 games. He set a franchise record for total points in the first 10 games of a season, 300 points, passing legends Bernard King and Patrick Ewing. Afterward, Porzingis said milestones like that will mean nothing if the Knicks aren't a playoff team this year. The only concern for Kristaps, the organization, and the fan base doesn't appear to be the talent of the 7'3" rising star. It's the prospect of injury for Porzingis. The 22-year-old was unable to play Wednesday due to ankle and elbow injuries, and the Knicks fell 112-99 against Orlando. With Porzingis out, Tim Hardaway Jr. was the Knicks' only consistent scoring threat and had 26 points. The Knicks entered the game having won 6 of their last 7 games, but they seemed out of sync offensively without Porzingis. They shot 53% from the field and committed 23 turnovers. Kristaps is expected back Saturday night as the Knicks welcome Sacramento to the world's most famous arena for an 8 p.m. start. The Brooklyn Nets are now 4-7, including 1-5 away from New York. They are in Portland tonight and Utah Saturday, wrapping up their West Coast swing. On the ice, the New York Rangers need more of the Henrik Lundqvist they got in Wednesday's 4-2 win over the Boston Bruins. More of the guy who made several difficult saves and stopping 31 of 33 shots. And he believes he's closer to achieving greater consistency while he and his teammates have reeled off a 5-game win streak. The Rangers are now 8-7 after that atrocious start. They take on Edmonton Saturday afternoon at the Garden. Puck drops at 1 p.m. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. The Red Bulls and New York City FC both came up a goal short and exited Major League Soccer's playoffs on Sunday. Needing at least 3 goals on Sunday, NYCFC got 2 in the first 55 minutes on a rainy night at Yankee Stadium. But Columbus held off a flood of pressure over the final 30 minutes and emerged with a 2-0 loss that was enough to send it through to the conference finals 4-3 on aggregate. Toronto advanced despite a 1-0 loss to the visiting Red Bulls on Sunday, an ugly match that included a slew of red cards. Toronto advanced by virtue of having more away goals, having won 2-1 in the first leg at Red Bull Arena. On the baseball diamond, Japanese baseball star Shohei Ohtani will be made available to major league teams, according to Japanese media reports. Ohtani's team announced Friday that the highly talented pitcher-outfielder will be made available via the posting system. Ohtani, 23, is the reigning Pacific League MVP and is 3-2 with a 3.20 ERA this year, while being limited because of thigh and ankle injuries. He is batting .332 in 65 games with 16 doubles, 8 homers, and 31 RBIs. He has a 42-15 record with a 2.52 ERA and 624 strikeouts and 543 innings over 5 seasons, in addition to a .286 batting average with 48 homers and 160 RBIs. Pretty good numbers. Financially, the 3 leading teams that could pay the most are the Texas Rangers, the New York Yankees, and the Minnesota Twins. Expect to see Ohtani in pinstripes. Aaron Boone, who hit one of the most famous homers in Yankees history and has served as an analyst on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball the past 2 years, is among the candidates to be the Yanks' next manager, according to sources. The 44-year-old Boone joined the Yankees in midseason 2003 via trade and ended Game 7 of the American League Championship Series against the Boston Red Sox that fall with an extra inning homer. He was set to return as the Yanks' third baseman in 2004, but blew out his knee in a pickup basketball game, the first domino in a series of events that led to the Yankees' acquisition of Alex Rodriguez. General Manager Brian Cashman is believed to have a list of about 15 candidates, several of which, like Boone, have no managerial or coaching experience. Joe Girardi's bench coach, Rob Thompson, interviewed this week and apparently made a strong case for the job. Cashman also said this week that he fired Girardi because of communication issues with the team. Cashman cited this as the primary reason for letting him go. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a tribute to the late, great Roy Halladay. Roy Halladay, a two-time Cy Young Award winner, pitcher who retired from baseball nearly 4 years ago, died when his plane crashed into the Gulf of Mexico on Tuesday. He was just 40 years old. Halladay's Icon A5, a small single-engine aircraft, went down around noon Tuesday off the coast of Florida. The Sheriff's Office Marine Unit responded and found Halladay's body in shallow water. No survivors were found. Halladay was an 8-time All-Star who went 203 and 105 with a 3.38 ERA in his 16-year career with the Toronto Blue Jays and Philadelphia Phillies. He threw a perfect game with the Phillies during the 2010 season, and on October 6th of that year against the Cincinnati Reds in the National League Division Series, he became only the second pitcher to throw a postseason no-hitter, joining Don Larson, who accomplished the feat for the New York Yankees in the 1956 World Series. Doc Halladay, as he was called, is arguably among the greatest pitchers in his generation. He always had a desire to learn to fly. His baseball contracts would not allow it. But when he played in Toronto, he would often fly a remote control plane throughout the stadium hours before games. What I will remember most about Doc is his tireless work ethic, something players, coaches, and people that knew him alike this week have come out to say in remembrance of the all-time great. One year at an All-Star game, it was just Roy and myself in the clubhouse, and it was legit 6 hours before the Midsummer Classic, an exhibition. And I asked Halladay if he would do an interview, and he politely declined, saying that he needed to study up on the hitters. He was sitting in his locker with index cards and notes. He was the ultimate professional. Sadly, baseball says goodbye to Doc way too soon. Our condolences go out to his family. He leaves behind his wife and 2 children. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
When they test you, stand firm and move only when you hear the seatbelt click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
Welcome back to Open, everyone. It's now time for this week's Open Artist Spotlight.
The Open Artist Spotlight is made possible in part with public funds from the Bronx Council on the Arts through the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Program.
Today's spotlight shines on a professional contemporary dancer who received her training from the Alvin American Dance Center and graduated from the University of North Carolina School of the Arts and Montclair State University. She is currently completing her MFA in dance and recently traveled to Cuba to study with prestigious masters of Danza Contemporanea de Cuba. I hope I said that right. She is the final dancer currently finishing her Dance Your Future Artist and Mentor Collaborative Residency, a partnership with Pepatian and BAD. Please welcome to the Open Artist stage, Beatriz Capote. That was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. We wanted to give everybody a little background on your extensive training. And the beauty of I guess when I come across dancers, especially those working with Pepatian and BAD, is that you not only are you exercising your craft and just enhancing your craft, you're also paying it forward, and so you're teaching it. So your whole world revolves around your craft.
Yes, definitely.
How fulfilling that must be.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, I mean, even just growing up, just my mom put me in dance school, and like you mentioned, Alvin Ailey, and she just wanted me to continue that. And I mean,
So
it's
how
fulfilling.
old were you when you started?
I started dancing at 4.
At 4?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I just continued that, and it's fulfilling not only for myself, but also to share my talents with everyone, with other talents that are out there trying to do the same thing.
So throughout your studies, how did you come into finding your niche, right? Because it seems you have folklore sprinkled into your style.
Yeah. Well, my partner, who's also performing next week, Miguel Aparicio, who wasn't able to come here today. So we actually partnered together to form the Sabrosura Effect, which is a Latin professional dance company. So we, with both of our backgrounds, we wanted it to combine it. So because I'm Cuban American, so my background is Afro-Cuban folklore, but I also do contemporary as well as he does too. So, and as well as Cuban song and salsa, a little bit of rumba. So we do it pretty much all. So we wanted to infuse those things together. So that's pretty much our niche, which actually, we're trying to exist in not only the salsa world, but also in the concert dance world. So it's like combining all of these different styles together that is actually underrepresented in the dance, world.
Right.
So we want to actually expand on that and really showcase all the different styles of dance, mixing it, fusing it together. But then at the same time, we also can separate those
when necessary,
when
right?
necessary.
You can
Exactly.
detach them and you can fuse them together, right?
Exactly.
Because you're trained in each area.
Exactly.
Right, but you did a nice little sancocho there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Right?
Jambalaya, sancocho, all of that.
So before we have you perform, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to get un sabor, a little bit of that flavor, because she's going to give us a little flavor in a little bit. In a little bit, she's going to give us a little flavor. But before we present her, I just wanted to ask if this particular presentation that you're going to be doing for Pepatian at BAD, if there's any political innuendos that also serve as messaging.
Yeah, so our message, so our pieces, or our title is called Orb, so which delves into physical and spiritual complexes and magnitudes that work together. So we're actually asking, audiences, and we're actually asking ourselves, and also answering the question of what are we reaching to our potential? Are we reaching to our actual capacity? And within that, are we reaching to the frequency of the universe? And then understanding, and then at the same time understanding what is the spiritual energy that surrounds in between us, around us, even right now, right? So then we use that within discussing and dancing, Afro-Cuban folklore and all of the different genres of dance that I pretty much mentioned.
Lovely.
So,
and she's going to give us a taste of
yes.
it, and I can't wait. And thank you so much for
Thank
just
you.
sharing that with me.
Thank you so
'cause
much,
I felt
Rena.
it, and now she's going to give us a taste. So don't go anywhere, because we're going to have a special performance by Beatriz when we return.
Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant. Behold the angry giant.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
En su cuna ya no puede dormir. La negrita Lucumí. Se no drume yo no va a comprar una cuna colorada, mamá la negrita se le sale en lo fiel la cuñita y la negra Merced ya no sabe qué hacer. Tu drume negrita que yo va a comprar nueva cuñita que va a tener cafete, que va a tener cacadé. Si tu trume yo te traigo un mamey muy colorado, y si no drume yo te traigo un babalao que da pau pau. Tu drume negrita que yo va a comprar nueva cuñita que va a tener capité, que va a tener cacadé. Si tu drume yo te traigo un mamey muy colorado, y si no drume yo te traigo un babalao que da pau pau.
Once again, Beatriz is performing Sabrosura Effect at BAD on Friday, November 17th, 8 p.m. And for ticket info, you can visit pepatian.org. And for more on Beatriz and her work with her partner, Miguel Aparicio, visit their Facebook page, The Sabrosura Effect. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Keep hope alive, mi gente. Adios.